TIFU. I drank a pint of prune juice with my breakfast and I've been stuck on the toilet for over an hour. How long will this last? Why are they allowed to sell this as a fucking normal fruit juice drink along with all the other normal juices? Why isn't there a warning label or prescription required? Our fruit shopping got delivered and they didn't have beetroot juice in stock, so they swapped it with prune juice. I opened it this morning and drank half a pint glass and thought, that's nice, maybe I'll have another. Now it sounds like World War III is happening in my stomach. In my near 40 years on this planet, I have never heard my body make these noises. I literally feel like I'm being turned into liquid like that guy from X-Men 1. I have so much to do today and I have a flight to catch tomorrow. Has anyone else made this mistake? When will this end? TLDR. Drank what is apparently a well-known fruit juice laxative and now paying the price. Update. Made the flight and didn't shit my pants. Poos are back to a normal consistency and I have regained full control over my bum. Prune juice review. Taste 7/10. Consistency 8/10. Laxative effects 10,000/10. Chance of drinking it again 0/10. TIFU. By taking my kid to the ER by use of protopiclipunk. My 16-year-old son started on a new medication. I got a phone call from his doctor informing me that a rash is a very rare but very serious side effect of this medication. She said if he develops any rash of any kind, you need to take him to the ER. She said if I told them the name of the medication, they would immediately rush him in and treat him. So a few days later, he shows me a rash on his neck. It also happened to be the day he was instructed to take a higher dose of the med. It didn't look bad, but I didn't want to take any chances, so I rushed him to the ER as instructed. They didn't seem alarmed when I told them the name of the medication, but eventually he was seen by a physician who barely looked at him and said, "Dude, you've got razor rash." My son was so embarrassed and not happy with me. At all. I am mortified, but I just did what his prescriber told me to do. The ER doc said the prescriber was just covering their ass. My poor kid. TLDR. I took my son to the ER for razor rash. TIFU. By angrily telling two women at the movies to stop using their phones by user RTKing. For whatever reason, I always end up next to the person who wants to talk, ask their friend what's happening, take 5 minutes to open a bag of candy, repeatedly check their phone, sit and text message for the whole thing, whatever. It drives me nuts and takes me out of the moment. I try to ignore it and typically don't say anything, but this time, it was literally the person right in front of me on their phone. Full brightness, eye level. And kept happening over and over. So, in the deepest, most guttural voice I could manage, I leaned forward and whispered angrily, "Put your phone away." They immediately put the phone away and never used it again. 10 minutes or so later, the person next to them brought their phone up and did the same thing. I leaned in again and even more sternly whispered, "Put your phone away." The phone immediately goes down. No more phones for the rest of the movie. But at the end of the movie, the lights come up and it turns out this was a group of about 20 developmentally disabled adults out on a field trip to watch a movie. The looks of fear these two women had looking over at me while their caretaker gathered them all up broke me. Arg, I felt horrible. TLDR. I angrily whispered to some rude moviegoers to stop using their phones during the movie, and it turns out they were developmentally disabled adults on a field trip who I scared the heck out of. Whoops. TIFU. By paying £200 to shit on a volcano by user hot cartographer -962. So tonight I forked out £200 for what was supposed to be this magical stargazing trip up a volcano. The plan: ride a coach to the top, look through fancy telescopes at the stars, moon, planets, all very romantic. About an hour in, my stomach decides it is time to play Russian roulette. Absolute knots. By the time we get up there, 60+ people pile off the coach to enjoy the view, and I am curled up in agony, refusing to move. No toilet on the coach, no toilets up there either. Shorts with netting, no boxers, no wipes, no toilet roll, the full nightmare package. Fast forward 3/4 hours. I haven't moved an inch. A tour guide finally notices I am basically dying and hands me baby wipes. They point me towards some volcanic rocks in the pitch black. The ground is literally crumbling under me while I squat down and unleash a crime scene. Somehow, my shoes survive. But as I am wiping, my hand goes straight through and lands in the fresh pile of wet regret. Meanwhile, my girlfriend is standing next to me in the dark, absolutely howling with laughter at my misfortune. So yeah. Long story short, I paid £200 sterling to shit on a volcano, swipe my own hand through it, and then just get back on the coach. TLDR, paid £200 sterling to finger paint with my own shit on a volcano. TIFU by forgetting how old my crush at work actually is, by user Venom Blush. This happened recently and I'm still cringing every time I blink. So I F28 started a new job a few months ago and quickly hit it off with this guy Jake. He is funny, super smart, laid back in that unbothered but capable way, and dangerously good looking. He works in a different department, so we only interact here and there, but there's been undeniable friendly chemistry. Anyway, we started chatting more regularly, sharing Spotify playlists, joking around in work chats, bonding over our mutual hatred for open office plans and lukewarm microwave lunches. I caught myself looking forward to his messages a little too much. I won't lie, I started to develop a bit of a crush. Fast forward to yesterday, we were in the break room talking about movies. I mentioned how The Matrix blew my mind when I saw it as a kid. Jake goes, "Wait, when did that come out again?" Me casually, 1999. Jake laughing, "Oh damn, I wasn't even born yet." I froze. I blinked. I did the mental math like I was trying to defuse a bomb. Me, wait, how old are you? Jake, I just turned 19 last month. I am 28. I was reading Twilight when he was learning to read. I was getting my learner's permit while he was still trying to ride a bike. I was paying off student loans when he was finishing high school. I think I blacked out for a second because he asked me if I was okay, and I just kind of nodded and mumbled something about sudden back pain. He still smiled at me like nothing was weird, but now every time I see him, my brain screams illegal even though it's technically not. But emotionally, spiritually, existentially, I feel like I should be dropping him off at soccer practice, not flirting over Slack. So now I've been avoiding eye contact like he is the sun and I am a vampire, and I am spiraling about whether this is just a dumb crush or an early sign of a midlife crisis. TLDR, thought I was vibing with a hot coworker, found out he's nearly a decade younger, panicked, and now I'm reevaluating my entire existence over at a microwave burrito.